So it's been announced that for 2023, F1 will be headed to Las Vegas for the first time in over 40 years, with F1 owners Liberty Media saying how Vegas and Formula 1 is the perfect mix of speed and glamour. Can't wait to see how the people of Monaco take that one. Regardless of what type of event it'll be, the proposed night race will become the third US event on the calendar after the previous editions of Miami and the existing US Grand Prix at COTA. And given Las Vegas' reputation for taking as much money as possible, Formula 1 should feel right at home. Hey guys, it's Taran and welcome to the On Track channel and to today's video. Before we get going, do make sure to give it a thumbs up if you enjoy and subscribe down below for more F1 content every week with a variety of videos. I'm sure there's something you'll enjoy. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the video and why are F1 going to Las Vegas for 2023. So for a bit of background, since Liberty Media took over F1 in 2017, the sport has been steadily growing, with a further increase in growth the past few years and especially 2021, with reports that it actually became the fastest growing major sport on the planet. And as part of F1's quest for global motorsport domination, the United States was always a big target. Combine that with the growth that the sport has seen in the US especially, COTA 2021 had F1's biggest ever crowd at 400,000 people over the weekend, and it was only a matter of time before we saw the sport's US expansion. First off was Miami, announced in April 2021 and set to take place in early May 22, and now Las Vegas, with the date for the race looking to be set in November 2023. But why Vegas specifically? Well, to start off with, you do have some history of F1 and racing in the city, as way back in 1981 and 1982, races were held there. But given the decision was to make a very short, simple, repetitive and overall dull racetrack, and that it was made in the Caesars Palace car park, it's pretty easy to see why the US venture didn't last too long. But nevertheless, there is still that historic connection, and even now those Grand Prix events are still fairly well remembered, albeit for all the wrong reasons. But fast forward to the modern day and Las Vegas has really been making some moves recently as it tries to establish itself as more than just a venue for ill-fated bachelor parties. And as part of the city's development, it's had a big increase in major sports and sporting events. First off was the NHL team, the Vegas Golden Knights, who started out competing in 2017 and quickly found success, having made the second round of the playoffs in 3 out of 4 years, something the Maple Leafs franchise might consider doing once in a while, though I'll come clean right now and say that I'm a Red Wings fan, so it's not like we've been doing any better. Back to Vegas, and a few years later in the NFL, it was the Raiders who moved from Oakland, and for those of you who aren't really into the NFL, the Raiders in Vegas is pretty much a match made in heaven. And as a result of all this, the city has been able to host both the NFL Pro Bowl and the NHL All-Star Game, along with the upcoming NFL Draft and 2024 Super Bowl. So basically, when it comes to major sports, and especially those that are more important to the United States, Vegas has been and still is the place to be. And with the US ownership of Formula 1, along with its recent massive growth, Las Vegas, well, does make sense. But one thing for me that I don't quite understand, something I don't quite get, is the proposed timing for the event, with it currently looking like the race will be scheduled at 10 PM on a Saturday, local time. Now the Saturday part, that makes a lot of sense. The event is in November and trying to compete with mid-season primetime NFL on a Sunday night, probably something to avoid. But the 10 PM start? Yeah, I don't know. And hear me out, there's more to it than just some British guy complaining about having to be awake a bit early. See, if you're trying to get the US audience, 10 is already kinda late as it is. And that's just the West Coast. In the East, it'll be even worse at 1 AM. And then away from America, it'll be like 6 or 7 AM depending on where you are in Europe. So I guess the question I'm kind of asking here is which F1 market does that time actually suit? I know the Australians are happy, but where else? Just something to think about. Personally, I don't mind the early start, but that still doesn't mean it makes sense. But back to the racing and what can we expect? Well, if we look at the last 3 purpose-built tracks in Hanoi, Jeddah and Miami, F1 seems to be intent on exclusively creating pretty high-speed street circuits. And that looks to be exactly what they're going for in Vegas, with a track that looks kind of like a little squish cartoon pig, though maybe that's just me. But with the track itself, it definitely looks quite different to other venues, and that's probably because I guess it just looks a bit simple. But then remember it is built smack bang in the middle of a modern US city, and by modern I mean it has a whopping great big grid layout, not the tangled mess that is central London. But there are some notable features that's worth a look at. Firstly, the absolute mammoth straight that runs out of turn 9 all the way down to turn 11. And that flat out section of track is a monstrous 2 kilometers in length, which does see cars getting up around 212 miles per hour. And just for reference, that length of straight is roughly the same as in Baku. And that's including the left and right turn it has at the beginning. So yeah, it's long. And to go with that, you've got another decently long start-finish straight into a hairpin, and a semicircular turkey turn 8 type corner which could be quite cool. But I guess the question is, will it produce good racing? I have no doubt that the event and the weekend will be quite the spectacle, but will the on-track action match it? And right now, it's a yeah, I think so. albeit a lot of that optimism is based on the new cars improving racing in general, but I think there's enough in the track to give some hope, so long as they don't make the DRS zone so big that easy overtakes become an inevitability. Not naming names, but I'm looking at you, Kemmel Straight. Anyway, that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and a big thank you to everyone that's subbed to the channel recently. The growth has been really great. As always, do make sure to give the video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed, and subscribe down below for more F1 content every week. But until next time, take care.